Tuesday's bruising three-way fisticuffs. We're back here as we continue in what we have termed the sports minister's debate. The sports minister debate. Good evening, Lagos, Nigeria, the entire world, wherever you may be hearing us from. Welcome to the battle tonight as we take you on a journey which started on Tuesday and culminates tonight as the final 6 of our 32 contestants who started this race some 2 months ago get to the part where they pitch, they play some politics, and of course they appeal for votes from an ever watching, ever aware, and ever looking audience and panel. So let's get on the business on the day. My name is FEMI Daniels. Buchi joins me now for this quest. Good evening, Buchi. How are you?
Good evening, Femi. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sarafina is also part of the panel tonight. How are you?
Femi, good evening.
I like your hair, by the way.
Thank you.
I didn't say you don't give like 6 weeks now.
Nah, just 1 week.
It's another 1
week
yeah,
old.
I don't
just
know.
1 week old.
You know, finally, I'm really looking at it now under the neon light. Really.
Oh, God. Femi, I'm blushing actually.
Perhaps also it's your dress, it's your top that makes it stand out. And sitting
I've
right
got
under.
plans for tonight actually.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Let's go to the guy who doesn't have any plans for tonight.
Yeah, so.
Does the plan involve you? Honor.
I don't understand.
You've lost your power of speech.
No, I'm certainly not. I'm here. I believe there's something coming next, so I was waiting to hear.
Waiting. You're denying Sarafina on national radio.
He's feeding you.
Okay, he's confused.
He's confused actually.
Okay, let me leave you. Let's keep your innocence intact for now. So welcome to the fan battle. 3 adorable, delectable, outrightly amazing ladies, as we've come to know in the course of the fan battle, are here tonight. The sad news is one of them will have their last battle tonight. So heartbreak beckons once again. We'll see who breaks our hearts on the night. Let's start by meeting the contestants, welcoming them, starting with contestant and for the purpose of this stage of the contest, candidate number 1. Her name is LABAKE Raji. It's LABAKE for short. Very young and very, very intelligent human being who works in the banking sector, supports Arsenal and MFM United locally. She lives somewhere in Shasha Akumojo of Lagos. On Twitter, her handle is _Raji. _Raji. On Instagram, she is Raji LABAKE. Welcome, LABAKE.
Thank you very much.
It's a Tuesday, yeah? One of your favorite... No, it's a Friday. The day you don't like. You seem significantly well-rested this Friday. You don't look so harried.
Looks really can be deceiving there.
Okay. Did you go to work today?
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Oh, it's Friday, so you guys dress down just a little bit. Hmm?
Yes, we do.
So you're usually a little more formal on Tuesdays when you come here.
Yes.
Okay. But it wasn't a very hectic Friday today, was it?
Hectic, really.
Compared to the last Friday you were here, you looked really harried and,
Fridays are always, and today was no exception.
Okay.
It really was a tough day.
Welcome. It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Contestant and candidate number 2 is Adeola Martha Adebi. Everybody, I believe, calls her Adeola. Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we asked her for a nickname, none in particular. She's equally young. This lady is in their early 20s. She's a student of the University of Lagos who supports Barcelona and MFM FC. She stays on campus, I reckon,
Yeah.
Akoka in Lagos. On Twitter, she is at Hardest Queen. Hard. HARDEHS QUEEN. At Hardest Queen on Twitter. Adeola, thanks for joining us on the battle again tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Mm.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, everybody.
It's good to see you
Yes.
again.
Yes.
Contestant and candidate number 3 for the night. She's Chinenye Achimobosi. They call her Nenye. She's a young lady, mid-20s, who works as a customer service representative and supports Arsenal. She lives in Ajegunle Apapa in Lagos. On Twitter, she is NK_Chinenye. NK_Chinenye. There were 2 Chinenyes in this battle. One narrowly was edged out on Tuesday. This is the other one. We call her Nenye for short. Nenye, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Leaving the battle, the contest tonight is not top of your priorities, is it?
Not at all.
You have no intention to do so.
No, no.
Can I have a volunteer? Anybody who wishes to exit tonight? Okay, no hands up, no voices. Adeola,
Look
Are
at
you trying to
Buchi.
vo-
Buchi's answer.
oh, okay.
What did
Buchi,
you say?
volunteer. Anybody volunteering to
No,
leave the
no,
contest
no,
tonight?
no, no, I'm
Buchi
fast.
wants to.
I'm fast.
Buchi throwing his laziness. He probably expects me to give him perpetual leave so that he doesn't have to work
Why
anymore.
To sleep for 2 years.
Yeah.
Sleep for 2 years.
As long as he's receiving his salaries, he won't mind. Lazy bag of bones. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
Be here.
Who followed the contest last Tuesday?
I think we all did.
You all
I
did.
I tried.
Who got worried at the turn of events last Tuesday?
Okay,
I did.
truthfully, I did.
I did as
I
well.
did.
Okay. Who learned from the mistakes made last week and, hopes to apply the lessons tonight?
I personally did learn a lot of things last week.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
and I
did.
hope it won't repeat itself today. for
I hope
me.
so. I hope so too. Anybody else learn?
Yeah, I did. I did.
You all did.
listen.
Well, I see you all did. Everybody submitted their manifestos in good time before the deadline, Anyway, so let's move on. Welcome yet again. We're streaming live on Facebook and on Twitter. You want to help us with that information, Laba?
Definitely. We're streaming live on Facebook. You can go see us, everybody here, from Femi to Buchi to Serafina to Ona to the contestants, Nenye, Adeola, and also Labake. Just search 99 Nigeria Info 99.3. You see a live video right there. Also, you can like the page so you get notification on all videos coming up. So Nigeria Info 99.3 and watch us live on Facebook. On Twitter, just search for the handle Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info FM. And then you see the handle. Also, you can see there's a page right there that will take you to YouTube, but you can watch live on Twitter right there. So it's easy for you to know what's going on the fan battle, for you to see with your eyes, because then talk say seeing is believing. You can definitely watch and believe.
Labalistic, Mama, whatever.
Labalistic Mama Papala.
Mama Papala. Okay, guys. So let's do this. Buchi, Sarafina, and Ona. We have our 3 ladies. We go into the battle straight away. And it's pretty simple. We'd asked these ladies to come up with manifestos in the run-up for the privilege of serving as the country's sports minister if the opportunity reared its head. So tonight, all 3 contestants will give us their manifestos. They will tell us why they feel they're eligible and why they feel we should all vote for them. After the initial 1 minute, we'll give them 5 minutes to argue out the contest. We may allot them a little more time, as the case might be. We may. And afterwards, we would ask them specific questions based on their manifestos. They are free to challenge one another based on each other's manifestos. I do hope you ladies went through the manifestos of your opponents.
Yeah.
And you probably see points that you can challenge them on. We'll have all that opportunity. We'll try to make it very engaging. And at the end of the day, we'll try to manage the time. We may not give you beyond 5 minutes to argue out your points because we need more time to ask you specific questions to understand how your mind is working. But ultimately, we're also looking at your poise, your composure, your ability to hold your own under intense pressure. Pressure is a part of life. And in this job, well, pressure is never far away. You've got to learn how to deal with it. If all of that is well taken, it's time for us to go into the battle. We will start by giving you 1 minute each to introduce yourself to the audience, lay out the summary of your manifesto, or tell us why you want us to vote for you. Afterwards, we'll go to the other sessions. You'll have 1 final minute to come and close your arguments and seek votes. We will go to the phone lines where we will entertain 9 votes. 9 votes. We will entertain the totality of the 9 votes. We'll then also look at the votes on social media as well as the panel vote. On the panel tonight are 3 members of the panel. If need be, I will join in the voting. If need be. So if you're ready, let's get started. We start by the introductory comments. Is there anybody who needs a minute's pause before we go into this? I'll give you a minute's pause. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll go straight into the battle, starting with LABAKE, then ADEOLA, and then NENYE. Stick around.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
This is my good friend Sunday. He's named after one of the greats. To Sunday, Saturday is more important.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
This is Cynthia Uwak, aka Swash, aka The Stallion. Keep listening to 99.3 FM. Listen to Femi and the Gang.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages.
ages. It's game on. Kanta.
So welcome to the contests on the night. We'll go straight to the battles now. LABAKE Raji will be our first contestant candidate. You'll have 1 minute to lay out your arguments, your claim, and lay out the summary of your manifesto. Why we should agree that you are the one. Are you ready, LABAKE?
Yes, I am.
Your 1 minute starts now.
Thank you very much. My name is LABAKE Raji, and I'm running for the post of a sports minister. Sports, for me, is a way of life, as it is for us as a people. We haven't been able to justify our resources, the talents that are boundless all around the countries, and I think I can change that, and I will change that if given the opportunity. My administration will be focused on 5 key areas, and the first of it would be to harness young talent. So this cuts across both the athletes as well as the coaching staff, to the management, administration, every spheres that we need talent in, and that is everywhere anyway. Building of new sporting facilities and maintenance of already existing structure. We're quite good as a people in construction, but our maintenance culture is where the problem lies. So I think if given the opportunity, I would deliver. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, LABAKE. It's time for contestant and candidate number 2 to take her position in the spotlight. That's ADEOLA. Your 1 minute, ADEOLA, starts now.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is ADEOLA, and I am vying for the position of the sport minister of this great nation, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yeah, I am a sport enthusiast, and I am keen on bringing on new innovations and development to the current face of sports in the country. My administration would cut across about 5 major agendas, which is liaising with experts to properly integrate our age grade athletes into the senior national team, consolidating on our traditional sports, then developing other sports that people do not know anything about, then coaching academies for the coaches. So the coaching academy is something that we have not been able to really get into. So the coaching academy is one of my key areas today, and if given the opportunity, one of the areas I work on. And then improving the current facility, because we have facilities in this country, but then it's not up to par with standards. So we'll be improving what we have right now. So under my current administration, if given the chance, I would be working majorly on these 5 agendas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A quick reminder, even if the buzzer goes off, it means you round off. Don't hang your sentence, your point mid-sentence. Okay? And finally, we come to contestant and candidate number 3. Her name, Chinenye Achimobasi. Chinenye?
Yeah.
You have 1 minute to lay out your initial case, and that minute starts now.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Achimobasi Chinenye, and I'm currently running for the post of Nigeria Sports Minister. I am passionate about sports and would like to contribute my own quota towards its development in Nigeria. The importance of sports to the development of Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. Not only is it a promoter of national unity, it's also an employer of labor. In line with the vision of the sports ministry, which is to establish a technically efficient institution equipped with the desired professional manpower, resources, right equipment, and well-maintained facilities for sports development and participation, I think the time has come for us to take our place as a leading sporting nation among other committee of nations. And with me at the helm of affairs, that is going to happen. To this end, my administration will be centered on 4 key areas. 1, diversification, moving away from being a monotonous sporting country to promoting other sports. 2, partnership, collaborating with the public and private sector to improve sports in Nigeria. 3, we're also going to talk about welfare of sports personnel. And then 4, accountability. With this, I believe and I know that we are going to take Nigerian sports to greater heights. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies, for your impressive introductions. we move over to the part where we hear you out. This is the part where you can feel free to challenge one another. The whole essence, well, there won't be 3 sports ministers. It's going to be one, just one. So not only do you want to put out your manifesto and, of course, your person as the right one, you also need to show your audience why they should go for you at the expense of the others. And a good understanding of what they are hoping to do or what they are promising will help you lay that out better. So as a summary, LABAKE has a 5-point agenda. ADEOLA also has a 5-point agenda or manifesto, while NENYE has a 4-point agenda / manifesto. Who has the superior argument? Who has the superior drive? Who will be voted for? You can join by voting. We are voting on Facebook. We are voting on Twitter. On Facebook, it's Nigeria Info 993. You will see the live stream. You will see all 3 contestants on screen as they go head to head. You'd also see the trio of panelists as the cameras might roll, as the case may be when we come to them. Buchi, Sarafina, and Ona. And of course, you will see me. So go to the page and you will see the 3 names. When their names come up for voting, click on either of the names. As a bit of a description, if you're listening now, LABAKE is in a reddish head tie and more like ash-colored top. She's the first contestant candidate. ADEOLA is in a black top. She's easily distinguishable by her black top. While NENYE is in a 3-color dress or top of gray, blue, and those of you who know colors, what's
Yellow.
That's not yellow. Come
That's
on.
not yellow.
That's light yellow.
Lemon.
It's not yellow.
No,
It's not
it's not
lemon. It's
lemon.
not pink. It's
It's
not
light lemon.
Indigo.
What is light lemon?
Light lemon.
Hi.
It's side chick yellow.
But she says it's indigo. Is it indigo?
Indigo.
Indigo and violet.
All right. So it's not so funny. But yeah, if you're confused with the colors, that's NENYE.
What do you tell us? What is the color of the color? You don't even know.
I've always thought of it as yellow.
Okay, it's yellow.
Yellow
I
indeed.
think it looks amber.
You look amber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amber.
Yeah.
I think it's a
I
bit
don't,
far
I
from
don't even
amber.
know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's on days like this. It's on nights like this that I miss Lizzie. Okay, so let's go back to the business of the
I was
day.
like, yeah.
You know, she will tell you, it's I don't know. I can't describe it. It is one thing, and then do the 2 fingers like this. Yeah. So let's go into the contest. We've lightened up the mood a little bit, but it gets serious now. So you have a minimum of 5 minutes to fleshing out your arguments. You can feel free. Anybody can start. Your contestant numbers don't matter here, but we'll come back to you one after the other, and we'll talk to you. If you ladies are ready, why should you get the chance to serve as a sports minister? What ideas do you have that will take Nigerian sports to a whole new level? Let the battle begin.
So I already mentioned 2 of my 5 agendas. So I already mentioned harnessing of young talents, building of new sporting facilities, and maintenance of the old ones. The third one, which is very important, is the welfare of athletes, presently active and the ones that are retired, for an intentional and purpose-driven diversification of our sports. So this is not just us diversifying, but actually having a direction so we can always have a clear-cut goal.
LABAKE, sorry
Better.
to cut you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you said something about the welfare for past players. What do you mean welfare for past players? Are we supposed to be paying them even after they've left position, even when they're no longer active?
So as a sports minister, you have every other federation coming to give you reports. suppose they are under your purview. Yes.
Okay.
So each of these athletes have a certain body on which the sports they are active in it falls under. Yes.
Alright.
So while they are active, exactly what do we do for them?
Okay.
If we're not throwing money at them, we're actually doing the right thing, paying them bonuses, allowances, stipends while they're active. How about you have a plan? Yes. A way in which a certain percentage of their salary, of their wages, goes into a fund where it goes into almost like a pension, where you can achieve,
these guys
where you
know
can access later.
Don't you think they have their plans? Don't you think they know what they want to do with their
Our
money?
problem has always been with assuming. How about we actually get things done and stop assuming?
Let's not streamline welfare to just the athletes. What about the coaches?
It cuts across.
Okay.
It cuts across.
Now, one thing I need us to understand is that sports is a business.
It is.
Yes,
all right.
it is.
A really
the Federal
big
Ministry of Sports
one.
is the employer.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. The coaches and the athletes, they are the employees, and the fans are the final consumers.
All right.
Now, to this end, when you talk about welfare, we're talking about funding that cuts across monetary value.
True.
Okay.
All right. There is also training of this personnel.
Okay.
There is also incentives. Insurance. What insurance
in the end
policy
boils down to us
end
doing
goes
the
on
right thing, doing the right thing at the right time.
Okay.
As it is in sports in Nigeria at the moment, what we do, especially with football, what we do is you score one goal, you get $10,000.
Okay.
You score 2 goals. Is that the actual way of us building the sport? Are we actually doing the right thing?
You mentioned something about. You mentioned something.
Way, but I am not bent on you on the active players right now. You're talking about retired players. You want us to do what exactly for them? Your sport ministry will be majorly based on what they've done.
You should have said probably.
Hold on.
Going forward.
Me saying welfare for retired players.
Okay.
When you live on
Retired
players,
or are you talking about football?
Okay, what
or are
I'm
you talking
doing
about
that, just
retired
one cap.
athletes,
personnel in
retired
general?
athletes.
This
Excuse
retired
me, hold
retired
on,
athletes.
retired,
Labake, hold on,
one
please.
cap, 2 cap,
When you say
3 or
athlete,
4.
you're
If you live on
you're restricting it. You're restricting it to just the sports persons.
To be a professional sports player, and for a player to have an athlete to have 1 cap, 2 cap. As is in the case of football, they must be professional.
Policies.
Yes,
okay.
they
So
are not amateurs.
what about
if you live
athletics?
and breathe a particular
what about
sport
gymnastics?
for a particular period of time to get to the peak,
We're not
or
talking about
to
just
get to the
football.
place where to take you to the peak. We're saying the same thing. You should try and listen to me.
Okay,
We're saying the same thing.
You're saying that
You're living and breathing this sport. They have something to contribute back.
No, we're not excusing that, but they get paid for what they do.
How about
you expect us to go back?
It is not charity.
You can actually excuse me, ladies.
It is not charity.
When you get paid, now there should be a plan. There should be a plan in place. If you're paying somebody $10,000, why don't you take out $1,000 out of it?
A responsible federation would do
and then
that.
keep the database.
A responsible sports ministry
for the future.
To
the count. Like a pension plan.
What she just said. Now it's part of your money. We're not giving them just after you've left. So giving them money. Now it's part of your money. Your pension plan comes in here.
You've conveniently misunderstood me. You intentionally picked out the power you wanted to hear, what you wanted to hear.
Okay, what exactly were you driving at?
So hold on. You live and breathe a sport. You live and breathe a sport for a particular period of time. For the time it takes you to be a professional. Do you know how much work you must have put into the sport?
I think we've overflowed the issue of funding, the issue of money.
Yeah,
now what about
money?
We're talking about welfare now. We're talking about welfare of these athletes.
Yes, please.
What about the facilities? For them to
thrive. That's why I said Adiola conveniently misunderstood me.
You're
only the part of the financial incentive.
I talked about insurance. What happens when these players get injured or when these athletes get injured?
Exactly. So when it comes down to them playing for the national team,
what is in it for them?
They'll think twice.
That is what my administration will look into.
In the respective clubs.
When you say welfare, we're talking about improving the technical, the sports personnel. Training. It's not just about money.
Now,
what about training?
Continuous
training.
Money is important.
It's important. I'm not undermining that fact. I'm not undermining that fact.
To get adequate training, proper training, you need to get the right people in the right place.
Yes.
Round pegs and round O's.
Exactly.
So you get a particular stipend. How is it managed? So the problem is, even we seem to always fall back to the fact that the budgetary allocation for sports is not enough.
Yes.
The part where we actually have, how have we managed to do?
No.
2016, we had the Super Eagles stranded in Atlanta, not being able to make it to Rio de Janeiro until a particular player, John Mikelobi, funded and sponsored the team to
Why are
to
we
Brazil.
restricting
Is that the way?
just football?
I am not.
You know what about other sports?
I only raise an
What
instance.
about
I
other
only raise an
sports?
instance.
I think we're
Football
we-
is
we
where-
have
I think
too
this is where
much
this is
about
where
money.
this is where diversification should come in.
But unfortunately, how the money is managed boils down to the people managing.
Okay, now let's leave
yes?
funding outside.
Exactly.
So you've
we have a
gotten
problem
this
of
players.
leadership.
Now you've
We have a
gotten
problem
this
of leadership,
Now
so we
wait,
should
wait,
face it.
Wait,
Okay.
We have a leadership
that
crisis.
is why you're here as the sport minister.
Exactly my point.
Now,
so you
okay.
you owe
Now we're talking about leadership.
You owe them to task.
That is what accountability. That's where accountability comes in.
You owe them to
That's where
task.
accountability
And as I
comes
said,
in.
as it is,
Responsibility,
you get this
ownership
attitude with them.
mentality.
Now,
You need that.
written in my manifesto.
The
cut
major
across
stakeholders, guys.
all the relevant
The major
stakeholders.
stakeholders in all of this are the athletes, yeah? The major
They're not just the major stakeholders.
they're not the only
They're not the
one.
major
They're not the only
stakeholders.
one. I said
They're not the major
because
stakeholders.
These are the reasons why you watch sports. The athletes are the reason why you watch sports.
Okay.
Now, in my manifesto, I talked about coaching academies. We've seen that most of these athletes, maybe they do not have up to
Now, okay,
coaches.
thank you.
Now,
Thank you for mentioning coaching academy. Now you're saying now she mentioned something about the fact that we have limited funds available, and you're talking about establishing other coaching academies.
Now,
What happened to the Nigerian Institute of
We don't know how
Sport?
to manage.
What happened to the Nigerian Institute of Sport?
We don't know how to manage.
I was going there. Now the National Institute of Sport is there for something. It's not there for just figure. It's not just for
Wait,
the
there for the coaches for a long time, right?
For the coaches.
How does it been
So
doing?
why are you
Would like to hear you.
going to commit
you
limited
asked me a
funds?
question.
I haven't finished with my question. Why are you going to commit limited funds into establishing other coaching academies when you have
that
the
we
Nigerian
will
Institute
not
of
manage?
Sport?
That we will not actually.
when you already have something on
You
ground.
know where the problem is? This National Institute of Sports you're talking right now is in Lagos. Do you think all those across Lagos would always come here? Now my agenda is we'll create more, maybe across the zones, the 6
Exactly, with
geopolitical zones.
funds.
Exactly, because we have limited funds available.
It's limited anyway.
We have limited funds available.
Limited anyway.
How much? What do you call limitation?
Now, that is where partner.
What is your definition of limited? What
Not
do you
enough.
want to use your
Not-
money for?
not
Okay,
enough.
Thank you.
Yes.
What do you want to use your money
That
for?
tweet is
What
not
exactly
enough
you want-
already.
what
We've already
exactly do you
shown
want to
we're
use?
quite
Exactly.
adept at wasting it.
No, you're from your manifestos. You're talking about
Okay.
retired, yeah?
Okay.
Now, hold on, please. Now
You've
I
managed
get
to circle
this
back.
outlet.
You've managed to circle
I
back.
get this athletes. Okay, who are those that will channel these people? Who are those that will nurture them? Who are those that will take them to the next level of their career? So where do you put coaches? You're telling me that the money is not enough. So you just get these athletes. What happens to them?
No,
Who
no,
nurtures them?
you're doing the same thing again. You're doing the same thing
nurtures
again.
them?
See, I said,
You're doing
why
the same
commit
thing again.
funds that we do not have or that it's not enough into establishing other? You said other. Establishing
How
other
about we manage
coaching
the ones we actually
academies.
have?
Exactly.
You can't expect.
How about you actually manage the ones you have?
You can't expect.
We're acting like
affiliate
we're acting like
bodies.
this.
We don't have affiliate bodies.
Don't do that.
Would like to hear you.
It's an institute that could have.
One. So you expect all those from the other side
And
of
of the
country
one,
to come
what
here?
have we made
We
of
can-
it? Of the one, what have we made of it? Of the one, what have we gotten from it? How about you make the one functional first?
Now that's
Make it functional first. Make it turn out results before you think about creating new ones.
Who's telling you it's not working right now?
How well is it working?
Now I'll take you.
Why don't we make it work?
Exactly.
Why don't we make it work? Instead of committing funds
to a new one.
into a new one.
Make that one
Exactly.
work
Put
for
it
us.
into a new
Those in
one.
it right now. For something to work, you have to put something. What
Exactly.
is in it right now?
Which is exactly why you're running. Which is exactly why you're running. Which is exactly why you're running. Right? So you should show us
right now.
that you know how to
Build
do
on what you have.
Let me tell you something.
Build on what you
Let me tell
have.
something. Right now, it is abandoned. Nothing is going on there right now.
Do something about it.
Exactly.
Do something about
That is
it.
what I would do.
Do something.
That is what I would. I would not
That's
commit
why you're
funds that we do
running.
not have.
That's why
I
you're
will not
running.
commit funds that we do not have into something that is already in existence.
You
Work on it.
conveniently just
Work
toss
on
it
it.
aside.
Work on
I
it.
said
Now let me tell you something. Now let me
One is
refer
already
you.
on.
Let me refer you to the National Sports Policy document of 2009.
Okay.
It says from the federal, state to the local government level. It says the federal government should provide 5% of its budgetary allocation into maintenance of the infrastructures that we have. Now, instead of establishing other coaching academies,
How about you maintain it?
will.
How about you maintain
Now
it?
this is where.
And that's
commit
exactly what my
money.
manifesto says. Maintenance.
I will commit money into it.
Ladies, thank you. Thank you. We've given you 10 minutes. That's how much time has flown by as we speak. Now, this is the part where I ask you, is there any one of the three of you who has a question for any of the other contestants? You'll be given, you would be given a little time to put out your question, and your contestant will be allowed roughly a minute to answer that question. Who has a question, and who do you have a question for?
I do.
You do have a question. Yes. Nenye has a question for whom?
Labake.
Labake. Go ahead, ask your question.
Okay, so a part of your manifesto says that you're going to put a definite end to the leadership crisis that we have in the different federations. And one thing that has given us issues in the past is government interference in politics, with the federation. How do you intend to, solve this leadership problem without necessarily interfering in the politics of it? Because there was a time where we had issues in the NFF between Amaju Pinnick and Chris Gewa, and FIFA threatened us because of government interference in politics, in the politics of this federation. So how do you intend to, solve this problem without necessarily interfering in the politics of?
So,
Labake, you have 1 minute to respond.
You can't divest the sports industry, so to say, away from the reality of the country. So as it is, our country, our sports run on government charity, so to speak. So how much of our sports is actually private business, is actually on the private sector? Very, 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 the percentage is very, very minute. So yes, in the end, our sports and our politics are actually intertwined.
So which is the
reality.
FIFA sanctions.
So for me, it's not only football that we have as a sport.
Okay.
We can actually do the right thing. So as a sports minister, going in my administration will be focused on actually doing the right thing, being objective. So being a sports minister, I'm not going to be sitting on the fence. You take each of these federations to task. So we're having the basketball federation with two leaders, and people could not do anything. That's what you're for as a sports minister, because the actual athletes suffer from this. Do something about it.
All right. Anybody else with a question for any of the contestants? Any contestant with a question for any other contestant? All right. If there are no further challenges to all, because you guys were talking largely at each other, I thought this was an opportunity for you to ask one of those questions.
Actually, I do have
that
one.
You didn't get.
Do have one.
Who do you have a question?
I have one for Chineye.
For Chineye.
So, talking about in your manifesto, you talked about partnership.
Yes.
So, for me, as in the private sector, as corporate Nigeria, exactly how and why would I take my hard-earned money to invest in our sports when the likelihood of me actually getting value from it is actually little or nil?
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay, so how about you look at it as maybe not getting money from it, but as a part of corporate social responsibility, giving back to society. Everything is not about profit. You operate in a certain community. Why don't you give back, to society?
Labake, can I come in there?
You would be actually you'll be whatever you'll be what's the word now to be. You want my goodwill, but I'm sorry, I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly why. So I'm not going to. The likelihood of me getting value from this is very little.
Who says you're not going to get value?
What value would I be getting?
You were going to get your brand cutting across to different.
Fantastic. The same way ITO got his brand across for when he sponsored the Nigerian what's it called?
We're not talking about.
Okay.
Now we're talking about diversification.
Exactly my point. The other corporate bodies who have actually done it, what have they gotten from it?
Who says they haven't gotten
what have
anything?
they gotten from it?
Who said they haven't gotten anything?
Please tell me what they've gotten. Please tell me what they've gotten. Exactly my point. So the partnership itself, for you to get partnership and for you to work, you need to convince each of this.
That is where marketability comes in. Sorry.
You know what?
Now that is where marketability comes in.
Hold on, please.
No,
Hold on, please. You are going to talk about marketability. I'm
Yes,
going to
please.
give you half a minute to make your claim, because Labake stole much of your time. Okay. So you have half a minute.
Okay, so I talked about marketability. Now, for me as a sports minister, all right, I'm going to invest first in sport, make it visible. I need to sell my market. I need to sell something. So I need to make it visible. Once it's visible, once people see it, once there's publicity, of course you're going to have corporate bodies justly scrambling, to invest in something
But now,
that is marketable.
Bring about
All right.
marketability.
Your
Can
half
I
a
come
minute
in?
is gone.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
come in?
Go ahead,
Yeah,
ask your
I think
question.
I think as a businessman, there is nothing so charitable about it. They want to get in something. Now I'll be coming in as the sports minister. I'll be offering the ingredients for success. Now I'll have talents. I would have coaches that will keep this talent, nurture them, and then I'll have facilities. I'll give you something that will make you that is a very large body for you to achieve success. Now, what is there in it is that now there is nothing that goes for nothing, but I'm giving you a large avenue, things that I've put in place for me personally, for things to work, for success to come in. I'll give it out to you. Then you come in. What do you stand to gain? When success starts coming in, you become an international brand. Win-win for both of us.
All right, ladies. Thank you very much. You seem you have exhausted each other's, how do I put it now? Thank you very much for the battle. Well, the panel was listening. Before we go into the voting, members of the panel, at this point, will feel free to ask you specific questions. Once again, if you haven't started voting, go and start voting now. The last person to speak now was Adeola. You probably know Nenye's voice by now. And of course, LABAKE's voice if you're following the live stream. We do, so we expect you to vote for each of these individuals. If you are not sure of who is who yet, don't forget, we'll give each of them one final minute to close their argument soon. And then perhaps you could make up your mind then. Here's another opportunity for you to know who is who. The panelists will direct their questions to specific members or all of the members specific or all of the candidates. Feel free to ask as many questions as you would like. We have minimal time. When an answer is asked of you, you will have a quick minute to respond. If you guys are ready, who on the panel?
Can I go first?
Yes, Buchi, please go ahead.
Before I want to ask my question, I wrote my question down, but something just bust my brain now. My head just cut small. I was supposed to say this at the end, but I can't hide it. Labake asked you why put money in the sports, and you gave an answer saying giving back. Like, that was, it bust my brain. I was like, give back. And she answered you like, I'm running the business, I'm giving them money free of charge. I think that answer, it bust my brain. I was kind of not really expecting it from you. I think that was one of the like labalistic answer you ever gave right here. But Adeola, my question is for you. Looking at one of your points, especially number one, you mentioned liaise with experts in proper way to integrate our footballers from age group competition. You mentioned coaching academies.
Yes.
Saying something about really not having enough coaching academies. Did you say that?
No, I didn't mean not having enough coaching academies. How many of them are functioning? And
exactly.
What have they produced?
That's where my question is from. How many of them are functioning? I can tell you for a fact right here in Lagos State, we have close to like 20 academics.
Okay.
We know like most of these players they get in MPFL really come from academies. They sign them for like small money. All right, and they're talking about functioning. Though they might not really be that financially buoyant, but we have academies. I stayed in Aba for some time. We have close to like 12 academies in Aba. I stayed in Cross River for like 1 year.
But how many of them are FIFA
fully
standards?
Functioning? Not
how many
like
of them are FIFA standards?
FIFA standard. No, that's where my question is coming from. So we have this academy. So my question for you is, what are your plans in making them standard, like the word you're using? Because looking at this, you said you want proper integration under 17, 19, under 21. And also on that question, you say you want to like integrate into the senior national team right there. I think we have no issue. The main issue right here is integration because we always win.
Yes.
So what are your plans for making the academy standard one? And also, what are your plans for good integration of these players to the national team?
Okay, yes, thank you very much. Now, the first of which was integration of this age grade into the national teams. Most of the time we hear this, how would I say, complaints that our players, the kind of players that goes out to represent us, they're always beyond the age they claim to be.
They are old now.
They are older than what they claim to be.
Okay.
Now, this is where my integration process starts from.
Okay.
Going to the grassroots. there's Principal Cup. There was a time that it was very, very loud. But right now, it's not. It doesn't have the kind of publicity it used to have. These days, I don't know. I'm not going to say. I don't know if our sports ministry goes to this Principal's Cup. Now, these players, I was sure of their ages. Now, we take them, those that have performed well during this Principal Cup. Now, the good thing about it is that it's not just stereotyped to one state. It's cut across the nation. Now, we get these players. We take them to the academies. Now, there are several academies. Now, we take them to academies where they are being nurtured consistently. Now, there is progression. These players, we pick from this set of players to go represent us in this 8th grade competition from the 15 to the 17 to the 23 and then to the national team. I'll take you back to during the Kanu time when they won the Olympics. Okay. We can see that most of these players, they progressed into the national team, and we saw what it gave us. Most of our glory days, we can even tag it back to that time. That is one thing that integration could do for us. It has witnessed success before, and it can still witness success if we do it the right way. Get the right set of players, their ages, let them be the ones integrating, not trials from windows that 23 claiming to be 14, 16. You get the right set of players. And now the academies, let me come back to the academies. Now you said there are lots of academies. How many? Now, how you said, and that is where I'm going. Now, there's a National Institute of Sport right now in Lagos. Now, how well is it functioning? My administration would be based on what are the standards? The coaching these days has gone beyond the normal drawing table. Now, there are FIFA courses. There are courses that you can go through. There's FIFA license A, B,
Why
C,
you said
D.
it to FIFA courses?
No, I'm not. Hold on, please. I said I'm saying that this will get experts.
Okay, get experts.
Experts. Yes. We go abroad, get these people experts. In our country, we are not totally bad, but we have people that have gone across. Sunday Lisa at some point, I heard he was abroad for some FIFA courses. Now bring this set of people and more experts into the coaching academies. Then we'll get good coaches and not mediocre coaches. Right. Coaches that can stand in the helms.
Right now we don't have good coaches in Nigeria.
I'm not going to say
final question, yes or no?
I'm not going to say we do not have. We don't have up to par coaches. That's why we keep going
abroad.
Exactly.
Coaches.
That's why we keep going abroad all the time for coaches. Thank you.
Anyone else in the panel? We don't have an endless amount of time, so let's take each person to about an average of 2 minutes. Who wants to take a go at any of the contestants?
Femi, first of all, I just need to say this. Now, only noise I hear today. I'll just have to admit it.
I love it.
The noise was just too much for me. Now, Labake, I just need to ask you something very, very important. You talked about your number 3. You said better welfare for presently active athletes and retired athletes. Now, I want to bring this to you. How do you intend? I'm not talking about the active athlete now because they get paid. I want to look at it from the retired athletes angle. How do you intend to sustain this scheme? I'm not saying how do you want to do it, how do you want to sustain it? Is it something that you're going to do for just 6 months, 1 year, and at the end of the day, it just goes dead? Or how do you intend to achieve your aim?
My administration would not be focused, and it would not be about throwing money at problems, but actually, let's handle the problem from the root. So it is not going to end with me. I'm not looking to take the glory, so to speak. It's about us starting a framework that is actually functional, that would actually work. Each of all of these retired athletes, for them to be at the level where they actually represented Nigeria, wearing our shirts, wearing our colors, shows that they were professionals, they weren't amateurs. They have something to give back to this sport. They have something to contribute to this sport. So you live and breathe a particular sport for how many, even if the shortest career, say you had a year, 2 years at the highest level, that's how many days you lived and breathed that sport to get to that level where you were. There's a wealth of experience to be gotten from them. It's not charity for me. It's not about us doling out money and throwing money around, but actually doing the right thing. Get these guys. They can help us and nurse down to the grassroots. They can help us. So our problem has always been progression. These guys.
I'm not asking you what they're bringing to the table. You as a sports minister, how do you intend to sustain the scheme of giving them something?
You start a framework. Well, the average tenure for a sports minister, say 4 years. But you actually start a functional framework. And you hope that the next minister coming in would actually continue on the line. You see something is functioning. Common sense, logic says you wouldn't throw it out. You would continue with it if it's actually churning out results. And for me, the end game actually is for us to get results. For us to, Nigeria, we have the numbers, but have we actually unearthed the numbers we actually have? If this scheme actually brings that numbers for us in the right way where we want it to be, of course, it should be sustained.
If you work for me, for instance, and let's say you work for me for 35 years, and all through our working together, I actually had to pay you for your work and the rest of it. And after 35 years, or let's say 40 years later, I see you and you're not living well. Do I really owe you something?
Well, that would be if we're actually doing the right thing. Are we actually doing the right thing for these players? We throw money at them, thinking it's actually going to solve the problems. Our players being stranded.
So you getting paid for what you're doing is throwing money at you?
Are we actually paying them or actually throwing money? For me, okay, okay, hold on. 2016, I still keep on going back to this. It was a shame. The country should be ashamed.
The Super Eagles play, they win. You give them their winning bonus. It's throwing money at them, right?
And each and every person comes out
not
and says,
getting paid, but throwing money.
Each and every person comes out and say that money. If we actually use it to invest and actually face the actual problem we have in our sports, wouldn't actually our players they are proud to wear our shirts.
For free.
They are proud to wear our shirts.
For free.
They are proud. Do you know the kind of pride that comes to playing for Nigeria? It's not about the money for players who actually do it, because their careers is already fickle enough. So a country who necessarily doesn't really care about them, and yet they keep on coming in with results, and we're actually calling them the Nigerians. The Nigeria actually contribute to their success.
All right, Labake, thank you. Quickly, Chineye, number 3, you said welfare of sports personnel. Yeah. Are you trying to say that the sports ministry in code, they don't take care of the sports personnel when you talked about welfare of sports personnel?
They actually do, but my administration,
okay,
because sports is a continuous process. You need to constantly take care of these people. Sure. Like I said, sports is a business, and for your staff to be able to churn out results, they need to be taken care of. Productivity is key. You cannot say because this person is taking care of them, let me come in and then stop. No. And like I said earlier, welfare goes beyond funding. There's training. There's the incentive, awards. These are things that can actually propel a staff to do better. So if I come in as a sports minister, of course, these things will continue. It will continue. It's a continuous process.
Go salary?
No.
Okay, thank you. I rest my case, Femi.
Any further questions from the panelists? Buchi, do you have a question for? Okay, so Honor, on to you.
All right, thank you, Femi. I'll start with you, Adeola. Let me ask first, do you believe that we have a welfare deficit for athletes in our country, Nigeria?
Yeah, but I do believe that we do.
All right, and this needs to be corrected, right?
Yes.
So why have you argued so vehemently against the welfare of athletes?
No, why I came in was on retirees, those that have retired. Our point was they should also be catered for. Now, I am not saying they shouldn't be catered for, but why should they be catered for? I went back to somebody having one appearance for the national team. That kind of person also fits in. So when you say
why should they be taken, why should they not? Why should they be taken care of? What exactly does that mean? Are you opposing taking care of retired athletes?
Yeah, personally, I am, because I do not. The sector already is deficit with money. There's not enough money. Now we're going back to when they were active, they were being paid. How did you manage your money? There is no sports in the world that guarantees you retirement plans. That when you retire, this is the stipulated amount of money you get.
Have you considered that someone starting out his or her career could be representing our country and gets injured?
No, that's a different one. That's a different one.
But then he becomes a retired athlete.
The difference between what you said and what I am saying is that this person on the job gets injured. She's talking about those that have already left. You hung your boot already. I'm no longer doing this. I want to do other things. So putting in mind that
an injured athlete has not hung his or her boot.
It's a different thing. One did it because of injury. Another is doing it because it's time. It's time. I'm no longer interested. Now let me put in mind that okay, this athlete, let me use footballers. The best you can do is for 40 years. You are probably your career ends at the age of 40. That's even if you get to that level. Are you saying that we start paying those players or athletes retirement money from age 40? I do not understand that. Probably some clarity will help me understand. But personally, I do not see any reason why we should keep playing those. Why should we pay those that have already done what they have to do? They already did it. During their time, they got paid. The sporting sector does not have so much money to start bringing out to pay those that are already retired.
You hope to work after your time in school, right?
Yes, I do.
And you'll be paid for the job you will do.
Yes.
Would you oppose a pension coming your way when you retire?
Thank you. Now that is when NENYE came in. NENYE said something about...
No, I'm asking you, not NENYE.
No,
Would you oppose?
I wouldn't oppose, but you know why? A section of my salary has been removed. Now, it is actually what has been removed from me, not charity afterwards.
All right, thank you. Now, during the argument, you said something. Success first, partnership later. Am I correct?
I didn't get that. Can you repeat yourself?
All right. During the argument about sponsorship, you said what you would do is to create success first.
I said ingredient that will guarantee success.
First,
yes.
Then partnership.
No, that was not the question. I'm sorry. Probably you misunderstood the question. Our question was, how would you convince...
It wasn't a question. You were arguing where you said you would guarantee success first.
I beg to differ.
Then partnership later.
I beg to differ. That question came in, or that point of the argument came in when LABAKE said something about how you would convince your partners. And I said you have to guarantee them something, which is success. Guarantee them success, and then you know that, like I said, it's a business. They want to get something out of it. You already know that you're coming from a disadvantaged point of view. This is something I have put in place. My coaching sector is in place. I have the talent and I have facilities. This should guarantee you success. Now, as a businessman, you look at what your profits do. How do they outweigh your losses? Your profits are much more than your losses. You get into the business. It's a win-win.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, that will be all for you, Adeola. I move on now to you, NENYE. Now, NENYE, do we have a leadership crisis across the federating bodies, the federations of various sports in our country, Nigeria?
Yes, we do.
So, as sports minister, how would you ameliorate this situation?
Okay, so I talked about accountability,
right,
which has to do with responsibility, ownership mentality. I'll still go back to the National Sports Policy document of 2009 that says that one of the duties of the Federal Ministry of Sport is to create enabling legislation for this federation.
Okay.
Put the laws in place and let them, the leaders of this federation, go by the laws of the Federal Ministry of Sport.
And if they don't,
you sanction them.
What will you do? You sanction them?
Yes, please.
So, if you sanction them, wouldn't you be risking the sanctions you accused LABAKE of trying to bring when she tries to interfere in, for instance, the coaching situation or the issues in the NFF?
No, I said that
because your sanctioning means government involvement in sports, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
So,
no, because
so explain how it's not.
Okay, I said that the 2009 National Sports Policy says that the Federal Ministry of Sports should create enabling legislations for these people.
Right.
Okay. Now, the laws are there. You need to go by the laws. I am not going to say, okay, now let me give the instance of Chris Giwa and Amaju Pinnick. The sports minister said that Amaju Pinnick should step down because of the court order given, in support of Chris Giwa. All right. Now, in my own situation, I said I'll give a sanction. Not necessarily telling somebody to step down, but, put something in place that would...
Something isn't something. What would you put in place? How would you sanction? I mean, what form will this sanction take?
Okay. So, the sanction in this case would be maybe suspension for a while.
And that won't incur the wrath of FIFA, for instance, if we're talking about Nigerian football?
No.
All right. Okay, moving over to you, Labake. You want to be the face that is said to be the one to bring about positive change in our sports administration, right?
Yes, please.
Meaning that you would not go along with any negative status quo.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So why was your response when NENYE raised the question of you interfering in sports administration and incurring the wrath of FIFA? Your response is, this is the reality. The current reality is that government, as it stands, is so invested in the running of sports in Nigeria. You were inferring that there was nothing you could do about it than to go along, and now you have just said you would not go along with any negative status quo, and you added the word absolutely.
I would like to keep my head in the clouds. I enjoy dreaming myself too, but you need to keep your feet firmly planted in reality. So you can't divest sports.
So there's a variance between
divest,
what you're telling us and what you actually intend to do.
Well, was it a yes or no question? I didn't think it was, because if it was, then there's a problem. If you're bringing it down to, you can't divest sports away from the country where it is being run. So it is Nigeria, yes? There's a way. How many of we come down to football, we come down to basketball. How many of those clubs can actually run on their 2 feet, firmly planted on the ground without government interference? It is not great. We don't enjoy it. We'd like a change. We want something better. But unfortunately, we're talking about the same thing. Can you bring private bodies? Will I throw my money into a sinking ship? I wouldn't.
Perhaps.
So government is still holding these bodies.
Who knows? Maybe I agree entirely with you, but would you want to withdraw your statement that you will not go along with any negative status quo? Absolutely.
Okay, you taking the what's it called? The MBBF situation, for example. FIBA did what about it? FIBA stood on the fence where we had our league stopped for 2 years.
You're deflecting, Labake.
No, you're trying. Do you want a yes or no? I didn't think you asked a yes or no question. It didn't sound like a yes or no question to me.
No, the question is, I asked you, would you tag along with any negative status quo?
I wouldn't. No. I wouldn't. I just said that.
But you've now contradicted that by saying that if the reality is that government is so invested
then
in
perhaps
sports,
the way to go, then perhaps the way to go, since FIBA could not do anything about MBBF situation, then what we should have done is perhaps leave our league left there for 4 years without doing anything about it, and you claim to be the sports minister of a country where your league is not functioning. I didn't think it was a yes or no question. So you asked me, Honor.
Meaning that for the sake of pragmatism, you would tag along with the negative status quo if it will make things work.
I don't mind dreaming. I just said that, but I don't mind. My feet should also be firmly planted in reality. Let's do what is right for the major stakeholders of the sport, the athletes.
Thank you, Labake.
Can we ask one more question?
Yes, go ahead.
Just one more to everybody. Coming out of the sport minister, we do have a scale of preference for sports, different sports. We do have, Nanya?
Football.
Like, will you have yes or no? Like a scale of preference for sports?
No, because I'm gonna give everybody a chance to thrive.
Everybody a chance. What about you, Labake?
I think it's a room for everyone to grow, because.
So there's no scale of preference for you at all.
I don't know. I don't think.
What about you, Adiola? There's no scale of preference for you at all.
I don't think there should
like
be.
Coming in, like all sports will be on. You do, you blow. You do, you blow.
Yeah, exactly.
A similar budget for every sport.
No. I'm coming there exactly. I'm coming. That should be my next question.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't have a scale.
Wait,
chill. That was why I asked a yes or a no question, having a scale of print sport. And all of you say no. Man, maybe that on the side change on my mind right now. So right now, if you don't have a scale of print for every sport, are you willing to like invest same budget in all sports, no matter the situation?
Yeah. Okay, for me.
Are you willing to, Adiola?
Okay, perhaps not do the same thing for everybody, because we
no. Chill. No. I'm not going to take that. You said no.
You said no.
Okay,
that's your answer.
I am not allowed to change my mind.
Why would you change your mind?
I
gave you yes or no. Wait, chill. I gave you yes or no.
Okay.
So right now, let's people are talking about welfareism too much. Okay. So right now, are you willing, if they give you a budget, to like give all sports, don't care about football, is taking 50%, are you willing to like invest equally in all sports? As a sports minister, no matter the situation. If they call you for night, you say, how far? We don't get money to go Ukraine. You go say, no, I don't give you a budget.
Same money you give to football, you give it to chess, you give to every federation.
Okay, perhaps not.
Perhaps not. In like 30 seconds, tell me why.
Okay, we won't deny the fact that the scale of preference for Nigeria when it comes to sports is football.
Okay.
So I think that football naturally should have more, maybe not entirely much more than the other.
So that means
sectors.
that means in the first try, I don't fit the question already. Labake, what about you? You said no. That's what you said.
Yes,
Three
I
of
did.
them,
You
actually.
said the two of them said
Yeah.
no.
Yes, I did.
So right now, so going back to the other question, budget-wise, are you willing to like invest same amount in all sports?
Yes, if we're starting from the ground up, then each and every federation should show that they're actually worth the amount that they are getting. If how much we're throwing into football, we're pumping into football. If actually money were the answer, then we should have won the World Cup 3 times over.
Labake,
But we haven't.
So I have a question to you. Like, if your budget is like maybe 2 billion or 1 billion, if you're giving football 50 million naira, you will give chess 50 million naira.
Absolutely.
You don't care.
What has football? See,
No, yes or no. I don't. No time to talk.
Yeah, I just
Yes.
said yes.
What about you, Nenye? The same thing.
I think it's going to be based on the activities on ground. If football,
But you said no.
I
You
said I'm
don't,
gonna
know the, you
give-
don't know the activities. That's why you said no.
each sport should have a calendar.
Okay.
Yes. So if football's calendar requires
More money.
Yes.
So right now you can change your mind later and like give them more money. Now you give them half before you give them half later. Is that what you say?
Like I said, it depends on the calendar.
Depends on
If
the
football,
calendar.
yes, if football has enough on its plate and requires, assistance.
Football already do have more on its plate. Others
Exactly.
still have more. Then they use split it busy.
Well, however, some sports actually have lesser competitions than the
Okay.
others. Yes, football runs on a daily. So if it requires more money, why not? But like I said, I'm going to give everybody a chance to thrive.
Everybody a chance.
A
The
chance
same
to
thing.
thrive,
Okay.
yes.
I mean, I think I'm done.
All right, thank you very much for everyone. Is there before we go to the 1 minute, your final minute? Is there anyone who remembers anything that they wish they could ask or put in before you go to your 1 minute? Anybody? All right. Let me ask a question. How many of you agree that whatever you do in sports, it all begins with development, harnessing of talent, and looking for the athletes wherever they may be? How many of you believe that?
Personally, I do.
No, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Nenye, how about you?
I do.
Nenye, I'm looking at your manifesto. I see nowhere where you made the slightest of allusion to anything on grassroots and development. Labake says her point number 1 is harnessing of young talents. Point number 1 for Adeola is to liaise with experts on the proper ways to integrate our footballers from age groups competitions such as blah 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 blah. Even though I don't know whether she wants to be football minister or sports minister, but I'm looking at you. You have diversification, partnership, welfare of sports personnel, accountability. Nothing here shows me that you have any intention for scouring and skirting for talent where they may be harnessing them.
Okay, so that for me comes under partnership. Now, I talked about partnership with the public and the private sector. Now, for the public sector, as a sports minister, I am going to collaborate with other sports ministries, including the Ministry of Education, to include sports in its curriculum. Now, let me take our minds back to the Lagos State Gymnastics Association. They recently had a meeting, so to speak, and they called on, the Ministry of Education to add sports to its curriculum. In that way, you can actually get young talent. You can actually harness young talent. Now, Labake also asked me a question concerning corporate bodies. Now, you can bring in corporate bodies, encourage them to take up a particular sport as part of their corporate social responsibility. Now, over the years, we've seen the likes of the CBN Open Tennis Championship that's produced the likes of Barakat Quadri. That is harnessing the young talent. We've also seen First Bank, sponsoring the Lagos Amateur Open Golf Championship. That is trying to get golf players from the grassroots. We also have the Lagos International Polo Tournament. So these are, ways in which you can actually get persons from grassroots. You can partner with these bodies. You can partner with them and then harness, identify. You can identify and nurture. You can develop young talents from this, partnership. Yes.
All right, you were cool. I set a trap for you. Your point 2 says partnership, collaborating with the public and private sector for funding and sponsorship of sporting events, as well as the quote identification and development of athletes. Let me go to you, Adeola. You talk about consolidating Nigeria's gain and the edge she has over other countries in the continent and world at large. And you give us examples: weightlifting, powerlifting, taekwondo, athletics, table tennis, and boxing. In which of these sports does Nigeria have an edge over the rest of the world?
No, perhaps not over everyone in the world.
I've heard too many perhaps from you.
Okay, let me quickly talk about the Olympics and the Paralympics. We see that when we go for tournaments, especially the Olympics and Paralympics, we see that where we get most of our medals come from this powerlifting from Paralympians. This is coming from people that there's not so much preparation or funding into it, but then they are readily giving back this kind of result. We look at Aruna Quadri, is probably the best table tennis player right now. There's not so much invested into him, as so to say, but this guy keeps giving every time he performs. There's also a Funke Oshinaike. She's represented us 6 times. They keep performing, and then when I mean consolidation, we have this talent already. Why not get into it? Put something into it. If we are not putting anything into it, and you're getting so much, imagine if you put so much into it, what you will get. Now look at the swimming part of it, where I feel that swimming should also be consolidated. Nigeria, Lagos, and even rivers, there's a large body of waters. And we know that there are talents who can definitely thrive in the swimming part of it. But you know what? There's nothing encouraging them. You're not getting there to go and, okay, there's a scouting process. This is a swimming tournament. This is what we want to put into you. This is what we expect from you. There is nothing like that. But we have, so to say, a hedge over these people.
All right. I was going to pin you down over semantics, especially because you use the word an edge. Consolidate Nigeria's gain and the edge she has over other countries in the continent and world at large. I still don't see the edge, but I would accept your explanation. Let me come to you, Labake. Point 5. Putting a definitive end to the leadership crisis in the different sports federations. How?
So we've had very clear situations like this in recent times, and from a layman's point of view, you can see the most affected is the athletes. So for me, leadership crisis stems for if something as simple as when a house is turned on its own self, how much progress would it actually make? So how much progress it makes or not make. And I think one of the worst things that could ever happen to anyone other than regressing is actually being stagnant. So we have federations who actually are progressively regressing, which is it's supposed to be ironic, but that's exactly what we are doing. So my administration will be focused on actually putting an end to it. So we're having elections, different places, different times, and yet different winners, and then they come and they turn everything upside down. So you have a definitive stop to it. You hold every federation to task. There are sanctions. How about you enact them? Let's do the right thing. So for me, it's not about paying lip service, actually doing the right thing. So we have a lot of problems in our sports, where a lot of it stems from our leadership. So actually doing something about it and don't just keep watching.
So let me take one of those sporting federations, the most popular one in this country, football. So what are you going to do to put a definitive end to the leadership crisis in the Football Federation as elections approach, and for those of us who followed the Football Federation elections over the years, I'm asking for specifics. Yes, I heard that you want to put a stop to it. I heard that there are problems. I heard that it's important we put a stop to it. But could you hazard an opinion as to what we could do so that at the next NFF general election or whatever it is, we don't go back to those days? Have you thought of it?
Yes, I have. So when I talk about leadership, it's not just about the person sitting in the helm of affairs. The entire cabinet, yes, they all make decisions. They affect the athletes and in turn affect the growth of sports of that particular sport. So I am very, very particular about how and what is being done in each federation. So about who is sitting there, how the person got there, how it is being run, hold each federation to task. There's a certain amount given to you, how it is being spent. So we're not just doling out funds, we're not just throwing around money. How it is being spent, what is being done on, what is being spent on, and I'm not just looking at reports. I'm actually going to do the legwork. So it's not just, don't pay lip service to it. My administration is not coming in to pay lip service. Actually, so hold them to task. Hold them. There are rules. How about you hold them? If there is a rule, obviously there should be a punishment if you don't if you don't meet up to it or you actually go against the rules. So actually hold them to account. Hold them to task. Each and every federation should come and tell me what it is they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and when they've done it, how it was being done. Simple.
All right, thank you for your answers. At this point, we can go to the votes as we approach the halfway point of the 9 o'clock hour in gradual steps. Thank you, ladies, for the interesting conversations. At least we had the opportunities to hear you out better because the 10-minute debate went really rowdy at times, but you've made your point. However you wing it, it's going to be a tough decision. Voting the most impressive candidate on the night and effectively voting someone out. But it's a task that must be done, so we will get at it. If you haven't voted yet, this is your time, your final opportunity to vote. On Facebook, it's Nigeria Info 993. On Twitter, it is at Nigeria Info FM. We're live streaming. On Facebook, you will vote on the live stream. You will see their names. On Twitter, you will see the live streams, but you will go to the tweet pinned to the top of our profile. That's where you get to vote either LABAKE, ADEOLA, or NENYE. So here's your final chance on social media to vote, after which we'll go to the phone lines. Each of these contestants will have 1 minute to close their arguments. Are you ready, ladies?
Yes, we are.
Okay. LABAKE?
Yes, please.
Here's your 1 minute. It starts now.
So if we'll be counting each and every one of our problems in sports in Nigeria, we'll spend a long time doing it. But the major problem we actually have is leadership, who is at the helm of affairs. So you don't necessarily have to have practiced or have played sports for over 25 years. But the question is, when you're actually sitting there, what would you do? How strong of a team would you have? How much legwork are you willing to put? How much of the grassroots are you actually willing to develop? Because our major problem is actually progression. So we have athletes stay there, shine for years, but there's no one to pass the baton to. And that's actually our problem. For us to grow, we have to understand how important progression is. And my administration is here to actually start something, a framework that is going to last us for a very long time, for us to actually churn out results. So we've got numbers, boundless talent, resources, but yes, what have we done with it? And my administration is here to actually put an answer and a stop to all of this. We're here to give results.
Thank you very much, LABAKE. Over to you, Adeola. You have 1 minute to close your argument. Starts now.
Now, the general overview of sport has given credence to the fact that it keeps youth from drugs and crime, and it helps them in their educational activities and also keeps them healthy. Now, the statement would be fully earnest in my administration with my 5-point agenda. I have stated out 5-point agenda which cuts across the talent, the facilities, and the coaching sectors, and then also developing other sports and consolidating on the one that we have not even put anything into, but yet bringing out results. So now my administration would be focused on bringing out the best we can get from this sport. Like I said, I want to bring development to the current face of sports. How will I do it? I get the talent, I nurture this talent, and then I get results. In the end, the reason I am running is to bring success, something that we've not really experienced in the last decade from our sport ministers. I will be bringing success, and I already highlighted all that I'll be doing to get this success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Nenye, you have 1 minute to close your arguments, beginning now.
Thank you very much. So I talked about diversification. Spreading your tentacles. Variety is key. I talked about partnership, bringing along other stakeholders. Then I also talked about welfare, and I talked about accountability. Responsibility is key. If you are tasked with anything, any responsibility, carry it out to the latter. No slouching, no excuses, ownership mentality. Run it like it's your own business that you want to see succeed. And that is what my administration has to offer. Success is the watchword. Success is key, and that is what we will achieve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, okay, let's shut off your clock. You saved us about half a minute. Okay, now we're here. It's time for us to vote. We'll go straight to the phone lines, where 9 votes will seek to separate these 3 individuals: LABAKE, ADEOLA, and NENYE, in that order. NENYE spoke last, ADEOLA before her, LABAKE spoke first. Let's go to the phone lines and let's see what 9 calls will break the deadlock for us in the first line of voting. Here are the numbers.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
And yes, we are ready to go. Let's see who our very first voter will be, the first of 9. Hi there, good evening to you. Yes, please, welcome.
Yes, sir. I'm voting for Abike.
LABAKE.
Sorry, LABAKE. I'm voting for her. I really like the way she puts her fast.
All right. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. So LABAKE gets the first vote. Who's
Hello,
next?
good evening.
Good evening to you.
Mr. Chigas here.
Well done, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm voting for Chinenye.
For Chinenye.
Yeah.
All right. Would appreciate if you would tell us why you are voting in a few seconds. Hi there. Talk to us.
Good evening. This is Ernest from Yanopaja.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. My vote goes to LABAKE.
LABAKE. You want to? Any reason why?
He made a good point. Even when both the both colleagues throw her question, she answered the question very well. Even the same thing with the judges.
All right.
So, the answer.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Next vote, please.
Hello. Good evening.
Good
Mr.
evening.
Femi.
Good evening to you. How are you?
Yeah, this is David.
Welcome, David.
Yeah, based on the parameters and the yardstick, I'm going to use in saying who did a better performance tonight. I feel I'll give my vote to Adeola. Why? She had great points, and even though sometimes they threw her off balance, she found a way to get up and did a good job. For LABAKE and Chinenye, sometimes they shot themselves on the foot by saying some points that some answers that they shouldn't have given on some questions. So I'm going with Adeola, because she outlined her point and did a very good job in answering them.
Thank you so very much. Appreciate your votes. Let's move to the next voter. We've had 4 already. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, Femi.
Yes, please.
Yeah. First, I must commend you for the great things you are doing, Femi. This is laudable. It goes beyond just coming to debate on radio. You are helping these young youths, to research very well. Well done, my brother.
Thank you very much.
I am Chuks Ejolano. I'm an author and a content creator.
Fantastic.
I have always liked LABAKE, listening to her over the times you have organized this. She's very good has a good finesse of the language, English language. But today, she couldn't defend questions that were put to her based on her manifestos. Diola, a question was thrown to Diola. How would you, concerning pensions and everything, and she was so smart about it and said, look, I will pay pensions for, you don't compare my pensions with retiree money. I'll vote for Diola. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your vote. Thank you very, very much. All right, we've had a total of 5 votes. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Femi.
Welcome, my brother. How are you?
Yes, see, Mr. Femi, I will vote for Adeola this night. At first, I did not like her so much, but when she made that point that the question was true to her, how can you repay retirees? Those who are retired. I say, how can I pay somebody who retired at the age of 40? Because before then, I'll be advocating that we should take care of our older men.
Yeah.
But it makes us to know tonight that somebody cannot just retire at least when the highest is 40 years, and you start paying them. With that point, she really treated me tonight. I'm voting for her.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your vote. Let's go on. There are 3 more votes.
3 more votes, okay.
Hello, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Femi.
Yes, please. Welcome. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, this is Victor. I'm calling from Coca.
Welcome, Victor.
All right, the contestant, they performed very well. But one person must go with the vote. So I think I vote Chinenye.
Okay. Nenye gets your vote.
Yeah, Nenye gets my vote.
All right.
She did very well.
Thank you very, very much. We appreciate
You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Here is vote number 8. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ayo.
Welcome, Ayo. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, good job you guys are doing. I love tonight's argument. I must say they've done a very good job. But I like the fact that Adela wasn't swayed out of it. When you challenged her and you were asking her the questions about the edge and everything, I was expecting her to make a mistake. I was expecting her to shoot herself in the foot. But she did a good job by defending it and coming great with great points. So my vote goes to Adela. Thank you.
Your vote goes to Adeola.
Adeola. Yes,
All right.
Adeola.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Final call, right?
Thank you. So one more call. One more vote. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Femi.
Yeah, good evening. How's it going?
Yeah, this is my first time of speaking to you.
Well, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is good for me, good.
Welcome. It's good to hear from you, my brother.
Yeah, I'm voting for Chini.
Okay.
I think it convinced me more better than Adeola.
Okay.
I think Adeola and Labake lack composure as far as I'm concerned. Too much shouting.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm voting for Chini. I think Chini was more calm.
Chinenye takes your vote.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right. With that, we close the votes over the phone lines. And we can announce the results. Labake took the first vote, Chinenye the second, Labake the third, Adeola took the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, Nenye took the seventh, Adeola took the eighth, and Nenye took the ninth. Meaning Labake takes 2 votes, Nenye 3 votes, Adeola 4 votes in total. So Adeola wins the vote via the phones. Nobody got to 5, but Adeola did enough to fend off the opposition. We would then look perhaps at social media. Before we okay, could you check Twitter first, whether we've closed the voting on Twitter?
I think so. The last time I checked it. Okay, to confirm again, yes. Yes.
Final results.
Final results on Twitter. Final results.
Okay.
Should I?
Yes, go ahead.
But before I take the final votes
Some
on
comments.
Twitter, some comments right here. Femi, we have a lot. Nigerian Info Twitter handle is currently down, but we don't rise like Jesus. The first one is coming from Chris Titiana, where she said, say they don't have a question for Adeola. She's too hot for them. Laba, she's too hot. She's very black. Black is not hot. Brown Skin Boy says, Adeola has my votes. Her level of articulation is top notch. Olariwaju says, Adeola has my vote too. She's definitely do well as a sport minister in my country. Kenneth says, fantastic confidence and point making from Adiola. Ebuka says, Adiola has been the best, to be honest. Ikena Kingsley says, Adiola speaks with so much passion. And if I'm in this government, she's my sports minister. Laba, call me Dami White says, I'm already loving this Adiola girl. She got good radio voice, and I love her veracity. For me, I get on my right, Abby. Confirm. See, I did learn English.
Veracity.
Veracity.
Where?
Veracity. That's what she knows. I studied physics. I know velocity. I think Honor will know this.
She got a good radio voice.
Veracity.
And I love the
veracity.
Maybe, I guess you meant ferocity.
Oh, hey, that's what they asked you. Now.
To be ferocious. It's an
ferocious.
F, not V.
Exactly.
Okay.
Even if you don't agree with her, she tried to convince you. But like taken by the comments from me, I think it's obvious. Adiola takes Twitter with 64% of the vote. She comfortably takes Twitter. NENYE coming second with 19% of the vote, and LABAKE with 18% of the vote. So easily, Adiola takes Twitter. Back to Facebook and refreshing again for the last time.
NENYE second on Twitter?
Looking again, yes, NENYE second, 19%, Adiola 18%, just one. Okay. The difference between both of them. Okay, Facebook votes are officially in. Femi Guy, Laba, we have a lot of comments on Facebook. Trying to take some right here. This one says, Chima Becker says, I vote for NENYE all the way. Michael says, I vote for NENYE. Our intro was sound. Anila says, Adiola manifesto. Like this, top notch. This one said, oh, Buchina fine boy. They don't know. Oh, God. Shay says, oh, why is the acting like a moderator? She needs to dish her point. Now, what for you? Emmanuel says, Adiola has my vote. Emmanuel says, Adiola points are valid. David says, NENYE has my vote. Kenny says, I vote for LABAKE. Desmond says, Adiola has my vote. Emmanuel says, NENYE, again, leave the baby alone. Evan says, I vote for LABAKE. She's very confident on top of the table. Emeka says, NENYE has my vote. Oluwafemi says, Adiola is always represented. This one I know you. Now your school. You always a colo for school. She know you. Shayi says, LABAKE is a true definition of small but mighty. This one I know you too, small but they don't say it short. She's very coordinated and articulate. My votes go for LABAKE. They don't say it short. So she's not that short, by the way. Deji says, LABAKE clearly has my vote. This one I say my PVC is for NENYE. But Femi, looking at the final vote, it's actually very close on the Facebook. But LABAKE gets Facebook with 41% of the votes on Facebook, to Adiola coming second with 33% of the votes on Facebook, and NENYE third with 26% of the votes on Facebook. This has actually been the closest since I've been here. 41%, 33%, and 26%. So LABAKE takes Facebook.
All right. So, to the panel, I'm waiting for the voting of one member of panel. If we could just pass that. Now, having gone through all of this, the panel have already scribbled how their voting goes for these individuals. Is there anybody on the panel who wishes to change their minds? Anybody on the panel who wishes to change their mind?
I mean, this is like one of the easiest decisions I made in my life. Last week I changed my mind. I can't change my mind.
Okay.
Never.
So who wants to go first?
I can't go first.
Who will offer to go first?
Femi, they know they preach long preaching for evening church. My first vote goes to Adiola, second to LABAKE, and third to Chinenye. That's it.
Okay, so Adiola wins your vote. Okay. Hold on. That done. Let me come to you, Honor.
Thank you, Femi. First off, let me say that my first vote goes to LABAKE, and that the choice I have to make between Adiola and NENYE is my short time here is the hardest, But let me say a little bit of what I observed from the arguments. I think their openings were brilliant openings. LABAKE says sports way of life. was able to, in that short time, list, the points in her manifesto. Adeola, the same thing, says she's a sports enthusiast. She wants to be the face of change. NENYE says she's passionate about sports, wants to promote efficiency and participation, and was able to reel out her points. Now, when it came to the defense, LABAKE went on the front foot. She led them on, and when she got to the welfare point of her argument, it became the subject of the conversation. Both Adeola and NENYE left their own manifestos and the points that they were supposed to be reeling out to us and started tagging along with what LABAKE had already given. As a matter of fact, Adeola's first interjection was to ask a question which further helped LABAKE to enumerate, her points. I think all in all, they allowed the part of the defense to be a little bit too narrow, too focused on the issue of welfare. And LABAKE is also guilty of this, but the point is, the advantage she had was that it gave her the opportunity to continue on the path which she had already set. She led them in that direction. And I think NENYE noticed that the conversation was becoming too much in that direction when she tried to, move it to infrastructure, talking about facilities, but she couldn't sustain it. She found herself also, pushing back to the conversation, the direction that LABAKE was leading them on. I think LABAKE was brilliant. She was able to give the answers and she rose to the occasion. So that's why she has my first vote. Now, coming to the decision that I have to make, it is really, really, really a very, very tough one. But at the end of the day, what would settle it for me is, and I would say now who I give my second vote. I give my second vote to NENYE, and it's so hard for me not to have given this to Adeola. But at the end of the day, I'm giving NENYE my vote because it is true that she may have been a little bit not as vibrant as LABAKE and Adeola. But I'm looking at the substance of the arguments she had to make. I think that Adeola was loud. Her voice was heard and all of that. But what is the substance? I'll give you an example. In her closing, she said something. We will consolidate on what we have not put anything into. How do you consolidate on something which hasn't even been driven to a certain point? You see, she made that point with a lot of gusto. But when you examine the statement, you see that it's really nothing. You can't consolidate on something that hasn't even risen, to a certain level. And then finally, she said, success is something that cannot be attributed to anybody that had come before her. That's when she emerges the minister. I don't think that statement is true. Now, NENYE, on the other hand, was able to talk about the policy document, which means that she demonstrated that already, without not yet being elected as the Minister of Sports, she has knowledge of the policy documents that will aid her governance and the policy direction that document will lead her to. And then she was able to mention certain competitions that were ongoing at the grassroots levels. The CBN Open, and she said something about the Lagos State Gymnastic Association and the, what they had going. I think she may not have been so vibrant in stating her positions, but if you look at the substance of her arguments, you will find really interesting things, like with the FIFA sanctions, So at the end, for me, Femi, LABAKE 1, NENYE 2, Adeola 3.
Thank you very much. It comes down to you now. As it stands for the panel, one vote to LABAKE, one vote to Adeola. Buchi, how do you vote?
I don't go take too much time. But first of all, I would like to thank Adeola, NENYE, LABAKE for coming. First of all, what I see this as is a learning process. I expected mistakes from day one, and I don't really count on anybody making mistakes. The most important thing is when you make a mistake, you don't come the next day and make a mistake. I think that's a learning process. I see it as a learning process. All right, here. I think this argument was good. I love it. Serafina turned on the shout. I didn't feel the shouting. I love shouting. I love energy. And I totally felt it because there was passion, which is like the most important thing. I think the argument was steady. It was good. All of you came out with something good. For Labake, I think she came out with more political kind of standpoint. She was talking like she's vying for like a political position. When I see you, I see no man no call the lady name for her. She was so say this is what I'm going to do. Political and blunt, which I like right there. For Nenye, I think she was more articulate. Right there, she was articulate, but I think that mistake she made about when they asked the question about investing money, and you said, I'm just going to give away the money. No businessman, even Dangote like this, so they give this 5 naira. No, you're born about when you talk, Dangote say they find money. For Adeola, I think she was more passionate. Very passionate, and I love it. And sorry, I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think she was loud. I think that's herself because she was passionate. You are not loud. Trust me, you are not loud. If you're talking about loud, I am loud. Right there, in any way you are not loud. I love the way you do there.
I didn't mean loud in a negative
loud
way.
Like
vibrant,
in a passionate way. I love it. Labake, keep it up. I love it. Sorry, Adeola. I love the loudness. The more louder you are, the more I get to like you. But talking about my final vote, Femi, I made up my mind before even the final phase. And this argument started with Adeola losing. She was trying to come in. Like both of you were talking. She was trying to come in. And I saw when you asked Nenye a question, Nenye asked you a question, and she was looking at where they come from. Like, where could not bring me enter this thing now? That was why the first thing I did, because I want to hear you talk and hear you defend your points, I had to ask you a question first. Because I want you to convince me or confuse me that you are in the argument. And what got me confused or convinced that you are in the argument was that Honor asked you a question and you were straight up. Because first of all, they fear Honor to ask question. And honestly, I think you are one of the few people that when he asked you, you're like, he can't look, say, no, we are carry question, go come, you start chill. I think for me, Adeola, you fought back, and that's what I love, because I fought back from different situations. You fought back. And for me, I love this bed playing, by the way. This is the bed of fighting back, and it was good. I love it. And for me, my final decision right here. It was easy for me. For me, I'm going to go with Adeola number 1. I think she was passionate. She had the fighting spirit. And I think for me, she delivered. I think she delivered right there. So Adeola on that is my number 1. And the number 2 is kind of difficult. I had to think about it and wait for the end argument. But I'm going to base it more on consistency because I was looking for 4 things. How you prepare your presentation, your coordination, and also how confident you are. And for my second vote, I'm going to go more with confidence. Labake takes my second vote, Femi. It's difficult here, but I think Labake was good in this argument. You're fantastic the way you are. You be a jiggle again. I love you, but it has to be Adeola and Labake for me today, Femi.
All right. So the results are tallied. Adeola takes the votes of 2 of the panelists, Sarafina and Buchi. She's third in Honor's reckoning, but she also took the votes on Twitter, coming second on Facebook. It is hard to dispute against those numbers, and by virtue of that, Adeola has won the debate tonight. And it also means that Adeola qualifies automatically to go into a one-on-one battle come next Friday with Chinwe. Congratulations, Adeola, as you progress. Certainly.
Wow.
Congratulations as you progress. Between Nenye and Labake, Nenye was second on Twitter. She was third on Facebook. She was second on Honor's card, third on Sarafina's card, third on Buchi's card. Labake won Facebook after coming third on Twitter. She was first on Honor's card, and that was critical, very, very pivotal. It shoots her to reckoning. She was second on both Sarafina and Buchi's cards. On the strength of the numbers. Labake has edged Nenye to second position. Those are the numbers. Well, what do you say? Numbers don't lie.
Maybe I didn't love you quite the best ways I could find, and maybe I didn't treat you